This is a video for how to go about changing a two-dimensional grid to an isometric grid and create a basic isometric sketch in AutoCAD. You'll notice that I have a basic two-dimensional grid going on my screen here, and what I want to do is change this to an isometric shape, and there's more than one way to go about doing this. And one of the first ways we'll do is we'll right click down here on your grid and go to grid settings, and we go to grid settings, we'll see rectangular grid snap and rectangular snap right here. We want to click on isometric snap, and what we're going to do is change our Y spacing to 1, and we're going to change our grid Y spacing over here. We have the snap at 1, and we're going to have the grid Y at 1. We're also going to change it to where every major line is going to be at 1 as well. And I'm going to say OK. And what that has done is it has changed it where we will be, our cursor is now on a left side plane. And what I mean by that is the cursor would sketch, let's say, just on only on, let's say if this was a window, it would only sketch on this side. Now if we wanted to flip that, we can go to ISO top, and you're going to see the grid now changes to where I'm only on top of the surface. If this was a cube, we can also switch it to ISO plane right, and it will be on the side. So just kind of to demonstrate how this will work, if I went to ISO left, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, I'm going to grab a hold of the line command, and I'm going to turn my snaps on. And you'll notice I said every point I want you to snap at 1. So if I drew myself just a basic cube here, I'm going to go to each snap, and I'm on ISO plane left right now. If I came up here and went to isoplane top, you're going to see the grid is changed, and also the cursor is changed to where if I was going to sketch a line, I would be on, let's say, the top of that cube. So also I can go to isoplane right, grab a hold of the line command, and I can kind of finish off this little cube. It looks like you're drawing on the front, top, and right side of a plane. It's as if though, you know, you're on the front of a house, top of a house, or a side of a house. There's multiple ways to go about changing the plane without accessing this ISO draft bar down here. And one of those is just to press F5 on your keyboard. And you'll notice when I press F5 on the keyboard, the cursor is automatically switching between, you know, the left, top, and right side plane. You can also hold on the control key and hit E, and you will see that this is flipping. Now you'll notice also though that the grid is not changing. The grid is staying in left, but my cursor is changing along with it. And what this allows us to do is to just actually if our snaps are on and they're correct, we can actually sketch pretty much on any plane that we're on. It is a good practice though to go in and change whichever plane you want to these snaps that you want. So you can see at this right here is with the ISO plane, it's going to change our grid settings as we see that. But if I hold down a control and hit E, the cursor will change along with what I wanted to draw. So if theoretically speaking, you know, we wanted to turn off our grid, and I wanted to say, you know, I want to sketch, you know, just off of this surface right here, and I'm going to come over to, and then I want to hit escape and go ahead and hit control E and change, you know, the line. I can change as if though I'm on the top and come back, and we can actually go ahead and sketch, you know, an isometric sketch based upon how we have our cursor. That allows us to go in and create a pretty simple isometric sketch, and also to change how our cursor sees. Now, another way you can get about this too is you can type the word ISO draft into the command line and hit enter, and you'll notice it's going to give you several different options: orthographic, isoplane left, ISO right, you know, ISO top. And if I just clicked on ISO top, it's automatically going to change it to this. That's a way to get about doing that in the command. Now if I put my grid back on, we can go back to ISO draft, and just for the sake of discussion, you know, I can say, you know, we want to go back to orthographic. I hit the letter O, and it'll go right back to being in an orthographic sketch. You can tell right there I'm not in an ISO anymore. But if I want to go back to ISO draft and place that in here and say, you know, I want to go back to, you know, being an isometric, I can go right back to ISO top, and you can see my cursor changes. So this is a way of how to go about navigating the isometric cursor and also isometric sketching within AutoCAD. In another video, we will go through how to draw ISO circles in AutoCAD. So this has been a video for how to go about changing your grid settings and your snap settings to reflect an isometric sketch, and also how to go about changing both your cursor and your snap plane in AutoCAD.